of 2,000 federal agents in a city that only has 600 police officers is still not de-escalation. So we have been very clear that Operation Metro Surge needs to end.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey wants the drawdown of 700 federal agents in his city to go even further. And new polling in response to the killing of Alex Preddy shows why the Trump administration may be looking for an off-ramp for their immigration operation in Minnesota. The Quinnipiac poll finds registered voters believe Preddy's shooting was not justified. And we're talking about a 40-point margin, 62 to 22. You look at independents, it goes further than that by a 50-point margin, saying it was not justified. In an interview on NBC, President Trump did appear to acknowledge how Operation Metro Surge is being perceived.
Maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. It should have not happened. It was a very sad, to me, it was a very sad incident, two incidents. And, you know, they mentioned the one now, they don't mention the other. Well, I think they were both sad. And, you know, who feels worse about it than anybody? The people of ICE.
Joining me now to discuss, Garrett Graff, federal law enforcement journalist. Garrett, I wanted to deep dive on this yesterday because there was this extensive press conference with Tom Homan, where I'll be honest, he did talk more about ICE and what he felt as a lack of sympathy about ICE than about these deaths the president is referring to.
Yeah, and I think that there's a sort of tension in the words that we're seeing come out of Tom Homan's mouth and Donald Trump's mouth and what the reality on the ground is. Mm-hmm. You know, as the Minneapolis mayor was just saying, sure, we can celebrate the drawdown of 700 federal agents.
And this is out of what, 2,000 to 3,000?
3,000.
Yeah.
So the force on the ground is still 2 to 3 times larger than the force that was sent into Chicago last fall in Operation Midway Blitz.
Yeah.
So this is still probably the largest federal law enforcement operation in modern times in American history. And
which caused a major backlash. There's been this chicken or egg thing about what is the cause of the strife and is there something particular to Minnesota? Let me play for you something that Homan did say during his press conference when asked about what he thinks operation should look like at this point.
We want to get back to the normal operational footprint here, but that depends on the people out there putting up illegal roadblocks. That depends on people that want to intimidate and interfere and put hands on ICE officers. Tone down the rhetoric.
I think the challenge here is ICE is the thing that is provoking the violence. And ICE, obviously is both immigrations and customs enforcement and the Border Patrol agents who are part of this and were actually involved in both of the shootings that we saw of Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy. And so, again, this weird chicken and egg tension of Tom Homan saying, you know, we'll leave when the violence stops, when they're the ones actually provoking the violence in the community. And if they just stopped, the city would de-escalate.
I want to play for you one more thing. This is President Trump in that interview with NBC News when he was asked directly about these deaths. And I want to play it for you because, again, it's this like, does the White House sort of understand how this thing is coming off? And here he is.
Nobody talks about all of the murderers that were taken out of our country. They don't talk about
but it was 2 Americans.
They don't talk
who died,
about, we have the smallest trucks. As an example, we've been very tough on the waters and soon, you know, pretty much overall. But if you look at the waters where we knock out boats, each boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives.
Again, I think you have to think about what has changed in the last year. And this is not me saying that everything was hunky-dory in immigration enforcement prior to noon on January 20th last year. But ICE and CBP were actually deporting a larger percentage of criminals than they are right now under the Donald Trump deployments. And that what we have actually seen on the ground in Minneapolis and the whole rest of the country is the administration shift dramatically away from the targeted enforcement operations going after those so-called worst of the worst that Donald Trump likes to tout. And instead, we're looking at numbers where 75 to 90% of the people that ICE is detaining in operations like Midway Blitz or Metro Surge in Chicago and Minneapolis do not have a criminal record in the United States, and less than 5% of them in many instances have a violent criminal record.
Okay, we're going to talk more about this today and some of the fallout from this conversation. But after the break on this morning, the ICE attorney who told a judge this job sucks, well, they're getting reassigned. Plus, the Winter Olympics kick off this week. We're live from Milan with all the excitement. And then meanwhile, good morning.